Welcome, everyone, to History Unpacked, where today we're diving deep into a figure whose impact truly reshaped the world, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It's fascinating how one person's vision can echo through generations, isn't it?
Absolutely, John. His name alone conjures up images of courage, determination, and that powerful dream. It's almost impossible to think about American history without his influence, you know? He wasn't just a leader, he was a moral compass for the nation.
I agree. And what's truly remarkable is that his journey started from such humble yet deeply rooted beginnings. Born in Atlanta, Georgia in 1929, he wasn't just born into any family. His father was a prominent Baptist pastor. That foundation in faith and community clearly played a massive role in shaping who he became.
Yeah, that early exposure to the church, to leadership within the Black community in the South, it really set the stage. You can imagine the conversations around the dinner table, the sermons he heard, the struggles he witnessed firsthand. It wasn't just theory for him, it was life.
That's a great point, Bob. And that upbringing, it instilled in him this profound sense of justice and a deep understanding of human dignity, even in the face of widespread injustice. He didn't just accept the status quo.
It's true. It's like he was destined for this path, but it wasn't just destiny, it was also a conscious choice. He went on to study theology, eventually becoming a Baptist minister himself, just like his father and grandfather. It really speaks to the continuity of that spiritual and community leadership within his family.
And that theological background was crucial because it provided a framework for his activism. It wasn't just about social change, it was rooted in deeply held moral and spiritual convictions. He wasn't just a politician, he was a prophet of sorts, speaking truth to power.
What always strikes me is how he translated those convictions into action. He was inspired by Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy of nonviolent resistance, which, let's be honest, in the context of the racial violence and systemic oppression of the American South, was an incredibly radical and courageous choice. It took immense discipline.
Absolutely, Bob. To advocate for nonviolence when violence was being perpetrated against your community, that requires incredible moral fortitude. Gandhi's influence on King cannot be overstated. It gave King a practical methodology, a strategic blueprint, if you will, for how to dismantle segregation and discrimination without resorting to the very violence he was fighting against.
And it resonated so deeply. I mean, imagine the courage it took for ordinary people, for students, for families, to participate in sit-ins, freedom rides, and marches, knowing they could face dogs, fire hoses, or worse. King's leadership, his calm and resolute presence, must have been a powerful anchor for so many during those incredibly turbulent times.
He truly became the face and voice of the civil rights movement. From the Montgomery bus boycott in 1955, which propelled him onto the national stage, to leading countless peaceful protests and marches against segregation and discrimination, his ability to mobilize and inspire was unparalleled.
It really highlights the power of collective action, doesn't it? He wasn't just speaking for himself, he was articulating the hopes and pains of an entire generation. And he was brilliant at using media, even in its early forms back then, to expose the brutality of segregation to the entire nation and, frankly, the world.
That exposure, that moral shaming, was a key part of his strategy. He understood that if the nation saw the injustice, it would be harder to ignore. And all of this culminated, in many ways, in that monumental moment in 1963 during the March on Washington.
Oh, the I Have a Dream speech. Honestly, every time I hear even a snippet of it, I get chills. It's not just a speech, it's a poem, a sermon, a rallying cry, all rolled into one. The imagery, the passion, the unwavering belief in a better future, it's just breathtaking.
It really is a masterclass in rhetoric and vision. Standing on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, with hundreds of thousands gathered, he didn't just speak about grievances. He painted a vivid picture of a future where equality and freedom were not just legal concepts, but lived realities for all people. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
And that line, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last. It wasn't just a hopeful declaration, it was a demand, a prophecy, and a prayer all at once. It moved hearts, changed minds, and really pushed the legislative agenda forward for civil rights. You can't underestimate its impact on getting the Civil Rights Act passed.
It truly encapsulated the aspirations of a movement, and the world noticed. Just a year later, in 1964, King was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his nonviolent struggle for civil rights. It was an international recognition of his methods and the justice of his cause, elevating his message onto the global stage.
That must have been such a moment of validation, not just for him, but for every single person who marched, who sat in, who faced threats for simply wanting equal rights. It said, what you're fighting for is right, and the world supports you.
It also cemented his place as a global figure for peace and human rights. He wasn't just fighting for Black Americans, he was fighting for the very soul of humanity, for the principle that all people deserve dignity and respect regardless of race, origin, or creed.
Which makes his assassination in 1968 in Memphis, Tennessee, all the more tragic, doesn't it? It was a devastating blow, a moment that felt like the lights went out for many. He was only 39 years old. So much more he could have done, so much more he could have taught us.
A truly heartbreaking moment, cutting short a life dedicated to justice. But what's incredible is that even in death, his message didn't die. In fact, his legacy only grew stronger, becoming an enduring symbol of peace, justice, and equality.
His legacy is woven into the fabric of America. We see it in every conversation about civil rights, every push for equality. His words are still quoted, his methods still studied. And of course, his birthday is now a national holiday in the United States, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. It's a powerful testament to his impact that we dedicate a day to reflecting on his life and work.
It's a chance to remember, but also to recommit. It's not just a day off. It's a day of service, a day of reflection, a day to ask ourselves, are we living up to the ideals he championed? His dream wasn't just for his time. It's a perpetual challenge for us all.
That's exactly it, Anna. King's work isn't just history. It's a living, breathing blueprint for how we can continue to strive for a more just and equitable world. His emphasis on nonviolence, on love, on understanding, these are tools that are still incredibly relevant today when we face division and conflict.
His message of the beloved community, a society based on justice, equal opportunity, and love of one's fellow human beings, that vision is as powerful today as it ever was. It reminds us that progress isn't linear, and the fight for justice is an ongoing one.
And it's a fight that requires courage, just like King showed. It means speaking up when you see injustice, even if it's uncomfortable. It means extending empathy, even when it's hard. He really taught us that every single person has a role to play in creating that better world.
His life teaches us the profound power of conviction, strategic nonviolent action, and the enduring strength of hope. Even in the darkest moments, he held on to the belief that justice would ultimately prevail. That's a lesson we can all take to heart.
So as we wrap up today, I think it's important to not just admire Martin Luther King Jr., but to actively engage with his principles. To remember that the dream isn't fully realized, and it's up to each of us to continue the work, to keep pushing towards that vision of true equality and justice for all.
Couldn't agree more, Bob. What an incredible conversation about an extraordinary human being. Thank you all for joining us on History Unpacked. We hope you've gained a deeper appreciation for Dr. King's life and the incredible legacy he left behind. Until next time, keep dreaming and keep striving for justice.